Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. It's your host, Rising Oblivion. Today, guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about Persona 6. Now, I know it's going to be quite a ways away, multiple years away from it actually being something that we get our hands on, but I wanted to talk a little bit about Persona 6 and how the current climate of Sega and Atlus could potentially affect Persona 6 when it comes to it being multi-platform or having a simultaneous worldwide release. As we know, SMT5 is going to be coming out in just a month. Like, man, I cannot wait to get my hands on this game finally. Getting to be able to stream it and play it for you guys is going to be so fun. I cannot wait. So subscribe and click the bell for whenever that comes. But SMT5 is just down the road. And as we know, SMT5 is going to be a simultaneous worldwide release, which means it's going to be coming out everywhere. It's kind of false for them to have said that because it technically comes out like 30 hours in Japan first, but we're gonna kind of let that slide. You know, usually it's worse than that. It's like an entire year and some, as we have known with Persona 5 Strikers. I think COVID had a lot to do with that, but even then, still, it could have been probably done a little bit better. But SMT5 is going to have a simultaneous worldwide release, so why couldn't something like this also be brought over to Persona 6? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So that's some new practices that SMT is going to be doing, but that also could be something that could apply over to their other studios, like the P Studios who are making Persona 6. Atlus and Sega in general are trying to branch out and have a bigger audience and release their games on more platforms, have simultaneous releases, because they know that these are good business tactics, at least when it comes to pushing your games. Overall, you hit a bigger audience, quicker, with a lot more of an emphasis on the game instead of having to kill off some of the steam, especially when it comes to a game releasing like a whole year earlier. A lot of people try to sneak a copy from Japan, or they end up getting spoiled on the game. At least as a consumer, this kind of sucks, knowing that people are playing the game literally like an entire year before you ever are going to be even getting your hands on it. Really sucks, man. And you go on Twitter, you see screenshots, you see videos, you see the opening cutscenes to certain games. I'm not sure how many things on Persona 5 Strikers I was spoiled with before the game had even came out, but man, it was literally countless type of stuff. I'd seen designs, everything. I mean, I could keep going on and on about it, but you kind of get the point why a simultaneous worldwide release is good, at least when it comes to the actual consumer itself. Maybe from the business standpoint, it's not the best thing to do, or it doesn't really matter, but when it comes to actual consumers, the people buying your game, it is good to, I think, maybe be on their good side when it comes to this type of stuff. If you want them to keep buying things from you and to keep liking your company, it just makes sense. And not to mention with how much the West has begun to appreciate the Meg 10 series, just in general, with the success that we have seen for Persona 4 Golden and SMT3 coming out, it's pretty wild to see that they need to start paying attention a little more to the West. And I think that's why SMT5 has this simultaneous worldwide release. And talking a little more about SMT3 and Persona 5 Strikers, those are things that came out on multi-platform, which is what the title of this video is. As you can see, I don't think if SMT5 was stuck under a contract with Nintendo, I don't think they would have stuck with just having it on the Switch. I think they would have went multi-platform as well. Something like SMT4, maybe it would have been a little bit harder for it to have jumped multi-platform, seeing as a 3DS game, but the Switch is basically a console. Like, this thing can run games that the PS4 can run. It can run things the Xbox can run. So it sort of makes sense that if they weren't tied under some type of contract with Nintendo, which maybe they needed that for SMT5 to get the right type of backing and everything, so not saying it's necessarily bad that it's on the Switch, but I'm sure more people would like to play it. But Persona isn't stuck under any contracts necessarily, which is why Strikers got to go out on, the PC, the Switch, on the PS4 and stuff like that. It did not have any limitations when it came to actual contract limitations, which leads me to believe that Persona 6 could have a multi-platform release and also a simultaneous worldwide release. This is going to be the big follow-up to Persona 5, a game that did super well. If they're willing to do simultaneous worldwide release with SMT5, a game that potentially they don't know if it's going to be doing as well as something like a mainline Persona game, you bet they're probably going to be doing that with Persona 6. I think that only makes sense. However, it is P Studios who might be kind of in charge of that sort of thing, but overall I think it is Atlus and Sega who is in charge of doing that type of thing, which Sega has been pushing Atlus to release more and more stuff, and I think it's thanks to Sega that we ended up getting things like Persona 4 Golden on Steam. We got to see also Strikers have a multi-platform release, because I think Sega's trying to push Atlus, and not just Atlus, it's other subsidiaries like the people who make the Yakuza games, to push out those games into other audiences, to not only from a business standpoint get more money, but to let it reach out to other audiences, which in the end just makes your company bigger and just makes your game even bigger. So imagine if like Persona 5 released on everything. All of a sudden there'd be a huge surge in popularity with Persona 5 again, which just sort of makes sense, I think, from a standpoint of the audience and popularity, even a business standpoint. If you look back on some of the sales when it comes to Sega, Persona, Yakuza, and I think Sonic, of all things, were like their top sales. And I think a lot of this has to do with them trying to bring out other games. Like old Yakuza games came out on the Xbox Game Pass. Persona 4 Golden came out on Steam. These big games that people have been wanting forever, they might be super old, but the fact that they're just getting them out there into brand new places, all of a sudden it's making them tons of money. Telling me that they would not try to do that with Persona 6, I don't really believe it, man. They're trying to do that with Strikers and SMT3. Now, SMT3 is an outlier. It should have been under contract with Nintendo, but they ended up not doing that. So SMT3 is a bit of an outlier, which is kind of interesting. But there's a huge surge in popularity with SMT3, a huge surge of popularity with Persona 4. I think a lot of people within the Meg 10 community who make a lot of Meg 10 videos had seen a huge surge in views and stuff like that when it came to Persona 4. So, with all of this evidence from Sega, from Atlus, from other Atlus projects within their other studios, like the main studio, they have Studio Zero, and then the P Studios there in Atlus. Just seeing what Atlus is doing from their other studios there, Atlus as a whole, Sega as a whole, what they've been trying to do, it just sort of makes sense, and I think we have a high likelihood of seeing something like Persona 6 not only release multi-platform but also simultaneous. And let's just hope that if this ends up being the case, that they do not give us one of those dumb things where if you get like the deluxe version of the game, you get it 4 days early. Like, bro, come on. Come on. It's always the digital version as well, because like, man, yeah, I want the steelbook. I don't want to get the digital version. Yeah, it's 4 days early, or at least if you're going to be giving us a steelbook version, allow me to also get the game 4 days early or something like that. That's so annoying when they do that, because it's like, well, like, do I do it digitally to play 4 games early, or do I be a little nerd and make sure that I get the steelbook and everything? I don't know. It's such a hard decision for me. I usually just have to sit there and just wait a couple days. I know, first world problems, without a doubt, that's a first world problem, but I don't know, man. I don't enjoy that, but I think we have a very high possibility, with all the evidence in this video, Persona 6 having a multi-platform and simultaneous worldwide release. But let me know your comments down below. What do you think about this? Do you think this is something that could be possible? I don't know. I think it has a pretty high likelihood, and I think they're going to be building Persona 6 up for the next couple of years, and probably keeping in mind a lot of the data and things that they've been getting, and who knows, maybe we'll have more ports and stuff like that, which is going to kind of give them more of an idea on what to do with Persona 6. So who knows, maybe they're still collecting more data. They could do a complete 180 on this. I have no idea, man. I have no idea. It could go that Persona 6 is stuck on just the Switch, or the Switch 2, or whatever it's going to be called. I have no idea, but like, comment, subscribe for more content. Click the bell to be notified when I go live again, or when I have a new video come up. I'll keep you posted on all things Shin Megami Tensei 5, and I'll also keep you up to date on the Persona 25th anniversary. If anything comes out during December or in between, I'll keep you up to date and have you notified. So thank you all so much for watching.